Buffmetal back with another video, and the topic of today's rant: I find the lack of masculinity in modern metal and horror disturbing. Now, what's going on, guys? So I've been playing with this idea doing this video, and let me get something out of the way real quick. This ain't gonna be some kind of Andrew Tate rant about how men are feeble and small and they're weak now. That's not true, man. Dude, everybody in life is just trying their best. I'm just saying, man, I feel like one of the things that I appreciate nowadays in the underground and, where we've been at, for the past couple of years, and where metal was, especially the extreme underground back in the 2000s, which is primarily what I'm going to be talking about. I got a bunch of CDs and tapes here. I'm just going to pop out quick. We're going to talk about these in a second, but there was something very masculine, something very, I don't know how to describe it besides like, the tunes had a swinging pair. You know what I'm saying? They had a big sack, I guess, and in a way that I don't find many bands nowadays tend to, in the mainstream at least. The underground has always been a torch and a beacon for really kind of brutal, over-the-top stuff that takes the most extreme ends of masculinity. Let's just get right into it here. I can barely show this album cover. Let's talk about a band like Gorgasm, right? So here's Masticate to Dominate, right? Incredible album, and I've been listening to it for the first time this week, and it's really killer stuff. This isn't, and by the way, this is not like masculine. This is straight like misogyny metal, but that's not. I feel kind of queasy even using that word misogyny, because it's like you didn't even need to say shit like that or over explain it back in the day. It was just it was just expected that this was just some dude shit. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't mean chicks don't get it too. Believe me, I've met a lot of girls in the metal scene, especially at the last fest, who are super into this stuff, and that's very well possible, too. It's not like that's not an option. There are chicks in the underground like anywhere else, but I do appreciate this over and almost like raunchy use of masculinity on stuff like, Destined to Violate as well. I love this album, man, dude. So many good songs on here. Funeral, Gangbang, Carnivore, Cunt Killer. Awesome stuff right here. If you never checked out Gorgasm, dude, some of the best leads and melodies in any BDM you'll ever hear. And yeah, man, there was something really to that. I think that overtly like brutal and nasty shit from back in the 2000s, that I don't know, just kind of it hits, and it still hits to date. Now, I saw, and I'm not trying to talk smack here, but I saw that band Peeling Flesh, I believe it was. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was them, where they were talking about, modern slam and stuff like that. And in the clip, they're like, yeah, we're just kind of doing what the OGs used to do, but we're not misogynist. And it's like, yeah, but neither were they. Did you not get it? Did you not get the joke? You know what I'm saying? This goes back to the masculinity thing, where it's like, it's kind of just dirty guy humor, And dude, that's just how guys are. Have you ever worked on a fucking like labor job? That's what I really want to ask, man. Have some of these guys ever worked in like labor with dudes who just don't give a fuck, who say anything? You know what I'm saying, dude? Like, if you ever have, man, like, you realize with men, anything goes, and it's not always artfully done. You know what I mean? Like it is on an album like Destined to Violate. But yeah, man, I love that old school like BDM, like I don't want to call it the tough guy tunes, but like kind of feels like it when you listening to it. Now, another band I like a lot, and again, I don't know anything about this band. I've listened to this album though quite a bit over the years. Just I throw it on sometimes. I'm not sure why. I've always loved this album cover, and it reminds me of like YouTube metal back in the day when you'd see something on YouTube on like what was it? Was it Slam Worldwide or something like that? But regardless, man. Cerebral Effusion with Idolatry of the Unethical. The intro track on here, if you've never heard this band, just listen to Exposed to Abjection. Dude, killer. There's like a pinch harmonic outro that goes for a while, and it is absolutely friggin' sick, all right? And I think about it, dude, like, this shit was goddamn badass, you know, and still is to date. It's almost like it's kind of in the vein of Disgorge and stuff like that, or Gorgasm. It's just that classic BDM type crap, you know. But I love it. Huge fan. Now, how does the CD relate to masculinity and all that? I don't know. I kind of lost the fucking plot here, but whatever, man. I'm just fucking hanging out. Now, yeah, I guess the same thing applies to horror movies nowadays. I think about that as well, where it's like, I don't know, man. So I saw Obsession a while back, and dude, I loved it. I thought it was phenomenal, man. I thought it was a lot of fun to watch. But I also, at the same time, you know, I think about it sometimes where it's like a lot of the male leads, especially in horror movies and stuff nowadays, are wimpy, you know, and that's cool. Like, it works in a movie like Obsession, because that's what it's about, is basically beta boys, you know what I mean, who can't get it done. But where are the Schwarzeneggers and shit these days? You know what I'm saying? There's that dude, I think he played Aquaman or whatever, and he's like one of the modern, like, action heroes, I guess. He's wearing, like, eyeliner and shit, and he's in these super overproduced movies, you know, and it just, dude, it's like, it just doesn't hit. You know what I'm saying? And Chris Hemsworth and these guys. I don't really know these names. I've seen them in passing, but I just miss the cold, clinical, like, you know, badassery of dudes like Arnold, Stallone, you know. I don't even know who else is there. I'm kind of blanking on shit, but I think about it sometimes, and I think that's part of the reason why horror... Dude, Bruce Campbell, fuck it, dude. I'm looking at my Evil Dead hat over here, you know, like, even Bruce Campbell, dude, maybe he's not jacked and shit, but he had that dude swagger about him. You know what I'm saying? He had that, like, I don't even know what it is. It's like that tongue-in-cheek, just I can drop a joke and kind of bust balls no matter what situation I'm in. And I love that about Bruce Campbell. Why has there not been one other Ash? You know, sleazy old Ash. I love the sleaze, man, you know, and that's one of the things I love about the metal, too, you know? I love it when the metal gets sleazy, and big shout out to, you know, a lot of the, like, bands like Mordant Red and Lord Humongous and stuff, who kind of have that, like, thick, sleazy atmosphere to them. I've been listening to them in the gym. Again, just spending a lot of time watching those guys live and going to their shows and shit a couple of times now this summer. It's been cool, man. They're cool ass dudes, and they're bringing back what I would consider to be that old school masculine feel, you know. And again, it's not just a guy thing, you know. What do I even think masculinity is at the end of the day? It's not like it's just like you have to be jacked and cold and completely stoic all the time. It's just more about like owning who you are, man. You know, like at the end of the day, dude, every dude is going to be different. I've met some twink-ass dudes who were truly masculine at the core. You know what I mean? Hardcore dudes. They might be a little twinky and liberal on the outside, but it doesn't mean they weren't masculine. You know what I'm saying? It's like, do you got grit or do you cave? You know, do you got balls? Or you got a little brutality in you to get after you? Do you got the, can you match your inner brutality to something like Scattered Remnants? God damn, I've been loving these albums, man. These Inherent Perversion and Procreating Mass Carnage. I always forget the name of that one. But, dude, absolutely awesome stuff. And in line with the Cerebral Effusion and Gorgasm stuff I've been listening to. Just straight up BDM classics from the 2000s, man. I don't know what it is about that stuff. It just seemed like the dudes who were doing it were actually scary. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, when bands like these come out, I assume it's going to be some nerds. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that's bad either, dude. It's badass still, dude. You do your thing, and don't let anyone on the internet like me ever talk shit. And, you know, don't take it to heart. I'm just saying, man, when there was a bit of mystique to those guys, you know, the Gorgasm dudes, I'm sure they were even scarier, you know, when nobody really knew what it was. That's what people even say about Cannibal Corpse and shit, right? But regardless, man, that's it. That's really all I wanted to talk about today. Yeah, dude, it's crazy when you look at, like, the modern scape of things and see that, like, you know, it's not the same these days, you know, and as far as, like, seeing real dude shit out there goes, especially in the mainstream, if you're listening for, like, rock, or what's a modern rock band, Tame Impala or something like that, you know, like, that's 0% masculine. You know, there's no nuts. Where are the nuts? You know, it's in the underground, man. It's right here with all of us, and I'd like to throw it out there that I appreciate it, you know, and everything that has a pair seems to stand the test of time, like Scattered Remnants or Gorgasm. You know, it's cool to see albums like these just getting passed generation to generation, getting reprinted time after time. And yeah, man, I'd like to see in horror a few more badasses. You know what I'm saying? I saw the trailer for the new Resident Evil movie, and again, it's like, where's the Chris Redfield, dude? Where's the jacked Chris Redfield who punches boulders and shit? You know, I'd like to see a little more of that. The lack of modern, of masculinity in modern metal and horror and the mainstream is disturbing. You don't believe me? Go check out that new Avenged Sevenfold fucking EP. Holy balls! I'll talk to you.